We just watched Avatar from 2009. What'd you think?
I give it a 7 out of 10, a solid C. Super fun, wild imagination. I mean, imagination in terms of like creating the world, but also imagination that you can imagine yourself being in it. Super fun. I just don't worry about the politics. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's super fun. It fulfills fantasies. It's like the fantasy of being an explorer and going out and to a foreign land and finding love and figuring out that you're like drift compatible like Pacific Rim, like you're like operating in step together, like amazing, like going to a different land. You get to save the day and eventually by the end you get to semi immortality and you're rich because like I mean I guess the Navi don't talk about money very much, but at the end of the day, home tree is down on the ground and they're still the unobtainium. So like they're rich, right? Like at the end. And then the movie has actually like it seems like it's straightforward, but actually there's complex subplots. Stories about coming of age and acceptance into a society and at the end it's like a knife in your side and you twist it by betrayal. But at the very end, like even though you betray the people, they will still follow you and love you as long as you have the sickest ride. Like as long as you got that red bird, that red ikran, that Torak Makto, people like you. Super fun. What'd you think?
I give it a 6 out of 10. So I give it a
Ooh,
D. So in terms of graphics and the way the movie looks, amazing.
yeah.
I want to be a part of it, be on the base, do the exploring. Probably don't want to take part in the destruction and
Wait,
genocide of the Navi.
you you chose to be the humans? Wait, I chose to be the Navi.
Well, I am a human.
Okay, good point. I'm a Navi.
Okay. But I don't know, they kind of hit me over the head with the themes a little too much. And it was a little bit too much like Pocahontas in terms of the story. So I was like, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. So like in terms of a like straight visual audio movie, love it. But the story was a little weak in my opinion. However, I mean there are great themes in there that make you think. So it's good. Um, so like the theme of blowing up the forest and killing natives is bad. That's the theme.
I guess
That's
so.
we're gonna call that bad. So there isn't really any nuance to that. It's just these guys bad, these guys good. And the motivation for the colonel to like go on this murderous rampage isn't really that fleshed out to me. He's just like, I want to go kill stuff. Um, which
America.
maybe sometimes there are people like that. So maybe it is sometimes that simple. But at the same time, like it's so absurdly aggressive. Like, does he need extra motivation? And then it was a little too white savory to me. Like he just like swoops into this culture and is like, I'm the leader.
Hmm.
Please do
That's the
stuff.
that's the fantasy. You marry their princess bride and then you take over the colony. You take over the entire
Mhm.
planet.
Yep. I mean, okay, I need to lean into it, I guess. But overall, it's a fun movie, fun graphics, amazing battles, wildlife, all of it is pretty awesome. A little bit too on the nose with the themes, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
As long as you don't think about the politics, super fun.
Yeah, super fun.
At the beginning of the film, we're introduced by seeing this faster than light ship. Brought the people all the way from Earth to Pandora. Let's look at it. Some interesting engineering going on here.
Cool. What do you think these
Interesting.
balls are?
Yeah,
Is that fuel?
interesting. So either gas, not like gasoline gas, but like gaseous gas, because then you get the largest surface area, largest volume for surface area, largest surface area, so largest volume for surface area. That or maybe liquids. Just hold them in a spherical ball.
Okay.
What do you think these red things
Okay.
up
And
top?
these
Can
are
you go
the
back like
engines,
a
right?
little bit? I'm not sure now. Like I think so, but then if you go back a little bit, like yeah, right here, you see these like heat lines. Like looks like a toaster oven, like getting like rid of thermal heat.
Yeah, and these plates here, that
Hmm.
looks like some kind of thermal radiative cooling.
So I
So
wonder
maybe
if
this
this
is
is
it's just the
this.
engine's hot.
The engine's hot. Also, maybe to keep the cryopods cool, you have to extract the heat, and so you got to dump it somewhere. They dump it into these radiators.
I think so. Cool.
It's like a toaster oven in space.
So interesting that the structure here is so long and thin.
That's right. So I guess that means the ship does not turn very much because it would not have a torque required to do this. So it's like a straight shot ship.
Yeah. Interesting that they made it rigid. You'd think it'd be more cable-like, given that it's a pull ship.
What do you mean pull ship?
So let's look at let's keep going. See if we can get a better picture. Very cool. Supplies.
Very cool.
Ooh, a ship.
That's the drop ship. Very cool. So I guess the first thing is establish which direction is the ship going.
Yeah. In fact, let's bring up a picture right here. This is failing.
You can just zoom in the picture.
Okay, here we go.
Cool.
So, which direction is it traveling?
I think it's going to the left in this picture. That's my hunch.
In this picture. And then this is an engine, and then this is an engine pulling the ship to the left, and then a lot of the payload is back here. Is that right?
Yeah, I buy it. Yeah. It looks like the ship and then all the pods in there.
So if we go back to this picture, the ship is being pulled to the left here, and this section is under tension.
I see. Okay, so then if you go forward a little bit, that's where we're seeing the ship in we're seeing Pandora and the planet in the reflection of the solar panels, because they're flying like backwards from our perspective.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I'm on board.
So it's interesting that this is rigid with you think it would be like a cable, so it could have lots of play without breaking.
And then it'll always pull the ship forward because the tension only goes along the cable.
That's right. But instead they have these girders that if there's any torquey business or bendy business, I feel like this is going to snap. Whereas if it was a cable and you get some turny business going, well, you turn it and then you can make adjustments back. You're not going to.
Interesting. Although with cable, that's effectively a single point of contact. It's not like a 3-sided thing. So then, if the engine turns, the ship might not, and then this could get really out of control, and it could just shear itself.
That's right. So you'd have to have coordination between rotating maneuvers back here and the ship in front. But I think you still have to, because you can't rely on this can't rely on this to create the torques for you. You create this long thing and you're twisting it.
Yep. And then the moment arm from the center axis out to the farthest of this long rod, no way. That's a tiny radius. That's going to get twisted off.
Oh, yeah, twisted. So they must have. Cool that it's. Yeah, go ahead.
It's cool that it's a pull ship though, because our spaceships have thrusters in the back, which I guess is a lot of compression force along the inside of the ship, which things are not so good at. Whereas with a pull ship, you pull it tight and then you can stay at a constant force. I guess it's stronger. I guess at least steel is stronger.
Is steel stronger under tension or compression, or it doesn't matter?
Tension.
So
I learned this about concrete buildings. You use concrete because it's very good for compression. It'll hold its weight, but it's not very good at shearing and not very good at stretching. So you put the steel structure inside the concrete, so then you get a best of both worlds.
I see. Interesting. I would have thought that to me, steel would feel like it would come apart quickly under tension, but I guess that's completely wrong. Interesting.
Quick compared to something else, but not as quick compared to concrete.
Okay, yeah, it's really a comparison game. So if this is some advanced metal under tension, that makes sense. Interesting ship design.
Super cool. However, inside the ship, they have these cryopods, and it's just hazard. What are they doing?
In cryo, you don't dream at all. Doesn't feel like 6 years.
That's cool.
Okay, it's in the cryopod. Opening.
It's like he's bouncing around. You see that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I want this cryopod to like strap me down. Keep me tight.
That's right. Because if there is some kind of turbulence or unforeseen situation, and he's got so much play, he's going to be like forward and backward and left and right.
And like his head hits the container, like dink, brain damaged, movie's over.
Right. And you're in a cryo sleep situation, so you want to be tied down. You want nothing. You don't want to move at all. But
I mean, I guess they're not expecting any turbulence in space, but still, like, just strap people down.
I mean, in airplanes, we have seatbelts. I mean, we don't want turbulence, but we say, put your seatbelt on just in case.
Yeah, sure.
So if they put these straps on just for unforeseen things, so that if there is unforeseen things, they just strap you down and you don't go anywhere.
Because if they're truly in space and like, we're not going to have any turbulence, then why strap people down at all?
Right.
Just put them in the tube.
And if you're going to have these just in case safety measures, do it right.
Then do it. Strap them down.
Watch how, yes, he's so loose. Like, wow.
Completely just floating around.
But he could actually just slip out of there.
Actually, what's stopping him from floating sideways? Like, I guess from his head to his feet. Like, he could be sliding inside the pod.
We're there, sunshine.
That's right, nothing.
If nothing is arresting his horizontal sliding, then dink, hit his head on the glass there.
That's right. If turbulence were left and right here, or whatever, unforeseen thing, his head would slam into this.
Well, heck, even not even turbulence. Just when the cryopod is extending out, he gets some left or right momentum from this perspective. What slows him down here? Like, are his feet hooked in? Like, he actually should hit his head here.
He should hit his head. I mean, I guess unless he has some friction with the belts, happenstance. But
then there should be tension on those belts.
I mean, I guess there's a little bit of tension in the belts because he's happens to be pushing up against him right now. But
well, let's watch it. Let's watch it. So if there's tension in the belts, then they should lean a bit, like, right? It shouldn't be 90 degrees to the bed. So what slows him down? Oh, maybe. Okay, maybe. Okay,
maybe. You know, he may be anticipating it, and so he's like hooked his. He knows that he needs to have a little bit of tension.
He's gripping with his toes,
or like maybe right here looks like there's some. But okay, it's unsafe. Yeah. It's unsafe.
Unsafe. Also, cryopods. They're double stacked. Like, there's somebody underneath him too.
You could totally see it like right here.
Yeah.
Why not do a 1-to-1 situation?
1-to-1. Like your pod partner farts and you just, for the next 6 years, you're breathing it in. Like, bummer. Like, yo, that's a lot of trust.
That's actually, before you take off for the planet, somebody hotboxes you with a fart. God.
That's right.
They're like, there's a delay. Well, please sit tight for an hour. You're like,
oh God.
And you get into a fart war.
That's right.
Who's more rancid?
Right. As if you could do that on command. Imagine, like, that's your superpower. Like, nasty part, activate.
Yeah. You're like, hey, got bacteria, get to work. And
Overdrive.
They just conjure up this nasty.
If I was a wizard, that's the only spell I would do.
I'm also noticing they have these the gas cylinders here. They need to centralize that system. Why are we doing individualized gas cylinders? They have to put them in all of these. Make one big tank and have a hose, so you don't have to keep replacing.
That's right. I thought it would be like a modular issue because then you could just strap however many of these you want. But then actually you just make a hose fitting that straps up to a single line.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that, because like the workers for this would be like, oh my God, we got to replace all of the gas cylinders right now.
Maybe it's like a union job. So they're like, we will not update. We want to keep
We're on
these
an
jobs.
update. Yeah. And then you forget to open a valve.
People die.
And you're like, God, I forgot to open the valve. You could have a centralized system.
Yeah.
Effed up.
We're already seeing that humans aren't doing too well here.
Yeah, they're
There's gonna be some
struggling.
inefficiencies in their systems.
This is a cool shot of Pandora. This is Pandora, right? The moon. And then this is the big planet, gas giant.
So it's like
That's
a planet-sized
Jupiter sort of red spot.
Right. Yeah, agreed. So this is this is some giant planet, gas giant. It's super similar to Jupiter's red spot. I think Neptune also has one. No, Saturn.
I think so.
Maybe.
It's like a dark spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's blue because of their
Neptune
atmospheres too. Right?
has a dark. And it's like a darker spot is like the big storm.
Right.
My concern was that around Jupiter, it has this enormous magnetic field that captures a bunch of solar wind and charged particles, and it creates radiation that is actually apparently lethal. Like within the day, if you're unprotected around any moon of Jupiter, you're toast.
I think it's called the Van Halen belt. This is a radiation belt that just whips around the planet.
Right. And for Jupiter, I don't know if that's true, but it sounds right.
I think that's the right name.
I know we have one for Earth, but is it the equivalent of the Van Allen belts for Jupiter that's capturing all this stuff? Let's declare it. Let's declare it. Yes.
Might be a musician.
The Van Halen belts.
But yeah, definitely like Europa is an appealing place for Europa. The 4 Galilean moons, they're appealing, but like they're also radiation that splashes all over them. So you have to be like live inside a shielding, otherwise you get irradiated and die. No good.
Right, but for Europa, it also the ice shelf on top of the planet can actually shield the potential ocean below from issues, and also maybe even provide fuel for life. Apparently, with some churning. Anyway, that's
interesting. Yeah.
So, but for Pandora, does it not have radiation problems? Like
maybe it does, and that's why the animals grow so big and aggressive. They used to be cute, but then they got all irradiated.
I mean, if life evolved in a high radiation environment, it would probably take advantage of it.
That's right.
So,
or even just have rapid metabolic processes that can get rid of cancerous cells.
Right.
That'd be cool.
And I guess the humans, here's the ship right here.
Oh,
there it is. I guess maybe it's their shielding, so they're okay. And then once they're on the planet, it must be somehow atmospheric shielding is working.
Sure.
Maybe magnetic field shielding is working. They don't have to worry so much. Here's the landing ship.
What is the unobtainium? Maybe the unobtainium produces some magnetic something that can shield the planet. I don't know.
Maybe because it is a room temperature superconductor. So maybe it's creating a magnetic field that shields the planet.
This is a cool cockpit. It has like the pilot on the right has this like sliding transparent augmented reality screen. Super cool.
Pilot on the right. Yep.
Yeah. He's like in the process of sliding the screen over.
Actually, we're actually seeing a flaw in the augmented reality already. I can't read
Double
it.
layered.
Because it's not dark on the background's not dark.
Oh,
so I'm looking through the window and I'm like, I can't read my readout.
Like all I'm seeing is a white screen. Like I'm seeing cloud.
I'm seeing the forest, but what is this? What does that say? Like I have no idea. They need looks cool, but yeah,
they need like a dimmable background.
Yeah. So this guy is if he's reading this, that's cool because he wants to see. Wait! This isn't even lined up with his. This is the aircraft flying forward, which is into the screen, but he's looking from the left. So he's watching the readout, looking at terrain.
Oh,
that is not where the aircraft is heading. It needs
this
to be in front of his
like
face.
right, or like projected in the correct angles for every person that sees it, like fully hologram.
Right. So there needs to be one here for him, and then one here for him. So when they're looking through this to make adjustments, then they're looking at actually where the plane is flying.
Yeah. So this is kind of just like a normal screen, but more difficult to use because you can't see through it.
Yep. Also, this is a gauge of some kind, and I'm looking through the window, and what does it say? Very difficult.
Can't see.
But then, hard buttons.
Satisfying clicks.
Satisfying buttons. And then F buttons. A1, 2, 3, 4. F1, 2, 3, 4. That's cool.
No masks, though. Oh, the mask. The pilot on the left has a mask, but it's hanging off the back of the seat.
Oh, that's right there. Interesting that it's not standard procedure to be suited up, considering if there's an emergency, you don't have time to reach around, grab the mask up. It could be over.
Even if you did have time, that means the pilot has the hands off the controls. So they have to like decide which one's first. I guess take care of your oxygen mask before helping others. But like me helping others is flying the entire plane. That's right.
Yeah.
Just wear the mask.
Maybe the passengers not being masked up is okay. Because that's inconvenient.
I mean, what are they doing there anyway?
Yeah.
Like they're just hanging out.
But the pilots probably should be. Yeah. And then here's mining equipment.
Weird. Super big.
Super big. Plus, it's like old tech. This is from like the 50s, 1950s.
Right.
It's just big scoopers.
Right.
You know, they've got like.
I guess I don't know what modern mining looks like, but I see what you're saying. That it is like very low tech. It is very like, just gouge the ground.
Right. They have FTL tech. They have cryo tech. Assuming mining tech has moved along, why haven't we moved from like strip mines?
I wonder if this is a corporation thing where they're like, let's use old tech because it's cheap and easy to produce on a very large scale. And they made it super large because Pandora has, like, what is it, 0.8 Gs? So then like you need less structured for a big structure. So I guess this thing is like stronger for its weight.
So we have this amazing tech because we need it for FTL and cryo. But for mining, whatever, I don't care about the tech. Just cheap.
Just get it done.
Send the machine,
profit.
and we'll just strip mine and profit.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe.
Yeah.
Can we look at the size of the human there? That's tiny.
Yeah, so this is a human. This is one of those huge mining trucks.
Yeah.
And then this thing is
gigantic.
It's just big. It's big.
Right. I wonder if does that thing ever get moved, or is it like it lives there now? Like they're not getting that off planet, right?
It looks like it's anchored in place and then it rotates.
See, maybe it has treads like a tank. Yeah, like can walk a little bit.
And I guess if you want to get off planet, it's either not economically worth it, and so you just leave it, or you dismantle it. I mean, somebody had to move it here, right? They didn't manufacture this on Pandora.
That's probably right. Yeah, they didn't like land a forge and then melt all the metal. Like,
right. But the question is, once it's built, is it economically viable to transport? Probably not. It's so heavy.
Yeah, doubt it. They have these cool ships like that. I guess it's the drop ship. It's the shuttle that goes from the orbiting space station down. And it has these cool vertical takeoff landing, but it didn't look right. Like, it really didn't look right.
Yeah, it looks tippy. Holy cow, unsafe.
Holy cow, unsafe. Yeah, they should have been like blasted from the jet wash. It looked like it didn't look right. Like it looked like it should have tipped forward. I guess tipped to the right, like nosedived.
Yeah, it looks like there's a whole lot of mass right here. And then the engines are aft. And
it's
so
not necessarily about, I mean, it looks like it's mass, but I'm also like kind of assuming uniform density, but that's not necessarily true, right? I guess the front part could all be like passengers, and then their back part is like the engines and fuel and whatever.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right. But I think for aircraft, right, the places where the mass is and the places where the volume is aren't always the same. So it can look all funkified because, you know, this could be really, really empty. right?
Can we do some limiting cases?
Okay.
Like, so for the shuttle to land and then for it to be stable on front wheel and the back two wheels, the center of mass has to be somewhere forward of the aft wheels. So if for the aft wheels, can you point them on your?
So you're talking about this like landing undercarriage right here?
Exactly. If there's more center of mass to the left of it, to the aft of the ship,
Yeah.
then whenever it lands, it's just going to tip backwards.
Tip
Right?
back. Yeah.
So the center of mass has to be somewhere forward of those rear wheels
Right.
when it's landed.
When it's landed, yeah. So that's anywhere
And then-
from the very rear wheel to forward, so that when it lands, the center of mass torques it forward and it's nice and level.
Right.
Okay.
Like a tripod instead of like tipping over, right? You got to have the center mass in the middle or somewhere forward. And then when it's in the air, the center mass has to be, I guess, at least as it could be as forward as the forward jets.
Right. It can't go further forward than the forward jets. Otherwise, you're gonna get torques that
A
rotate
forward
it.
torque. You just nosedive just immediately, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to balance it out.
So if I were to reiterate that, so if the center of gravity is behind the forward engine and in front of the backward engine, then you can balance the torque so it flies level.
Right. So we have to have both of these conditions at the same time. The center mass needs to be forward of the rear wheels, and it needs to be aft of the forward jet, forward engine thing.
So if we let this thing fly, it looks funky, but if we assume that this is a light area and this is heavy, and the center of mass is somewhere in front of the last wheel of the undercarriage, and it's in
But also
between,
behind. Yeah.
also behind this one, then I think it's okay.
I think it could be okay. It's really just there's like little wiggle room for your cargoes. Your cargo's got to be exactly right, not too light, not too little. No, not too light, not too much. Otherwise, your ship's going to be unbalanced.
That's right. I saw this horrible crash in Afghanistan of this 747, and the specialized person who's supposed to like load the plane so that it's all balanced screwed up, and apparently it tipped, and then
Yeah.
So I
saw
think
that.
there's probably a specialized person attached to this ship to be like, we have to move the cargo
Secure
and people
things,
around.
balance things, and yeah.
Right. That's right.
Still doesn't look right.
Still looks weird. Very cool.
Super cool though. Looks super cool.
Super cool.
So immediately after landing, the sergeant on board starts yelling at people to get off, but like, doesn't make sense. Let's watch it.
Get your pack. Put it together. Let's go. 1 minute. Let's go. That rep comes
Let's
down,
go, people.
Directly into the base.
Let's
Do
go.
not stop. Go straight inside. Wait for my mark.
So go to the base. Don't stop.
Go,
Straight in there.
go.
Just run.
Get out of there. Keep moving. Let's go.
But like,
Where are we going?
Where are they running? Like I just got here on this planet, and they're like, run, get inside. Like where inside? Like,
Right. So you're a new military recruit. You're just starting your off-world deployment. And he's like, get off the plane. And you're like, where am I going?
if I'm the fifth guy, if I'm the third guy, like all right, I'll just follow the line. But the first guy, like, how do they know where they're going?
Where is he going? Is he going to
Like
this
give
building?
me like a yellow dotted line. Like follow the line. Like sure.
That's right. And there's no obvious guy with a clipboard being like, okay, who are you? You need to go that way. Who are you? You need to go that way.
That's right.
It's really just
They're
a
just
free
like run. Like,
run.
okay.
And it's even worse than that because not only are they running and then they look like headless chickens, not a big deal if there's not giant robots walking around.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it gets really bad. So if we go back
Jake
here,
had to dodge the robot.
right. So here's people standing around, walking around. Giant robot who can kill you just by swinging an arm errantly. A guy with a wheelchair has to roll out of the way.
That's right.
What?
And it's like yellow wheelchair, high visibility. and the robot guy's pissed off. Like, dude, you're walking around a dangerous place.
That's right. It feels like there should be a zone where the robots can walk and where the people can walk. But having this mixy stuff, right? He could swing that gun without thinking in one direction and knock a guy in the head and he's dead.
Yep.
Because
That's Pandora for you. Everything out here's trying to kill you.
trying to kill you, including our lack of procedures.
including our own personnel and our own poor administrative controls.
Yeah. In fact, this looks like these guys are working over here, doing some cargo stuff. This guy's doing some cargo stuff. These guys doing some cargo stuff. Why is he even walking around in the cargo area to begin with?
That's right.
What is he doing?
I mean, I'm okay with him being able to walk around whenever, because you never know when something's going to attack. But it's like, unless something's attacking, stay outside of the cargo area.
That's right.
Just walk around.
Have you ever been, like at an airport, they'll have like lines on the floor where it's like, this is where the vehicles go and this is where the planes go. I don't see anything here.
Nope. Haphazard setup. Just did not think things through.
Yep. The link. Let's listen to it.
And the concept is that every driver is matched to his own avatar, so that their nervous systems are in tune, or something. Which is why they offer me the gig, because I can link with Tommy's avatar.
So they're twins, which means that they have they're identical genetically, but they've lived different lives. One is a PhD scientist, the other is a Marine. So they've lived very different lives. And they're saying, even with those different lives, the link up is fine. That seems very strange to me. Like, what?
Yeah, cool thing to think about. So I guess my gut reaction is I don't know, right? So how identical are identical twins? Like genetically, I guess if they're identical within some plus minus. So there are some genetic random mutations that one twin may get that the other one doesn't.
Right.
And then if that's true, how similar are their nervous systems? And how are their nervous systems affected by their life cycle, like their lifetime? Like if one has a very comforting life because they're like the golden child, the other one has a very like stressful life. Will that actually manifest as like different nervous system behaviors? And I think yes. I don't study them, but I think yes. And then my second thing that I think about is maybe this device has enough tolerance. They're like if you're 90% compatible, and then the remaining 10%, it's like it's close enough. Don't worry about it.
Could be.
I guess
my thought right now is all the differences would be in like the neocortex or whatever versus the emotional parts and the motor parts could be fairly identical. And so that's what matters. So even though the human part of the brain is totally different, all the parts that are going to like link in to
see all the like the autonomic stuff, the things that you don't have to like cognitively think about. So all of like the body control stuff is going to be good enough.
And that might be so identical that it doesn't matter.
I see.
In summary though,
possible.
do we know how the brain works? Not really.
I think it's active research. Yeah.
Like active research. Yeah.
Which is awesome. Moving forward, learning about the human.
Understand that, Brian.
Unobtainium. Unobtainium is that resource that we're here on Pandora to get. Let's listen to it.
This is why we're here, unobtainium. Because this little gray rock sells for 20 million a kilo. It's what pays for the whole party. Comprendo?
So this is what they're mining. They're doing the strip mine and knocking down the woods so they can get to this unobtainium. Apparently it is a room temperature superconductor. So you're looking up here on the wiki. Get a zoom in here. It is a room temperature superconductor for energy. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, which makes it very valuable. So room temperature superconductor would be world changing.
It would be, because then we could push around electricity anywhere we wanted without having to either cool it down, which is expensive, or encounter the thermal resistance.
That's right. And we could store energy in persistent currents. There's all kinds of stuff, and probably things we haven't even thought of yet, that once the technology starts to take off, like all these different applications will come into
Once you see what it can do, then you start doing stuff.
Yeah. So the fact that it actually makes sense that we're kind of knocking down forests and killing natives for this stuff because it's so useful.
Well, it would be species changing. It would change how humans operate if we had a room temperature superconductor.
That's right. And if this is the only place to get it, then Navi,
you go get it. You get it.
You get it. Yeah. And if I'm sitting on Earth and I just pretend it's not, atrocities aren't being committed, I'm cool because I got my cool computer. I'm gaming.
That's right. And my room's not getting all super hot in the summer because of the heat. Like, no, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Room temperature.
Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's messed up. So
what's messed up? All this stuff's happening far away. Yeah.
Far away. I don't even know. I
just bought the product. I don't know.
Yeah. So it actually makes sense why so much is being invested in the facilities on Pandora because of unobtainium. Question is, what is unobtainium? Is it an element?
I don't know.
Because if it's a compound,
if it's a compound, why don't we just make it ourselves?
We just make it ourselves.
Yeah.
Which somehow means it's difficult to make.
And also difficult to reverse engineer. Because even if it was some compound with some magic doping composition, well, we could just figure out what that is and then make it.
But I guess it could be an isotope of a particular element that somehow turns on magic superconducting properties, but we can't manufacture it in sufficient quantities because it's nuclear.
And it requires the radiation from the planet nearby.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. And we just
the radiation from the planet nearby does some type of magnetic field confinement that controls the isotope effect. I said words. None of that made sense.
None of that made sense. But it could be an isotope of a known element. So we're not making something new. Plus, he's holding it in his hand. And I feel like if it was a unknown element, it would have to be really high up on the periodic table, which would make this super heavy, I think, because he would have, even for something this size, it would be.
You mean like physically heavy?
Physically heavy.
Be a struggle for him to hold.
I don't know if a struggle, but it might be.
I guess more challenging
because he just whips it.
Unobtainium, because this little gray rock sells for 20 million a kilo. It's what pays for the whole party. Comprendo?
And it looks like he can hold it with just 2 fingers. If it was twice as heavy as gold, say, it would. I don't know if gold that size is still chunky.
I've never held a chunk of gold that size.
I guess I've held lead. And
that's right. And even that would be pretty heavy, so it would be even heavier than that.
Right. Yeah, with gloves on.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and mercury, I've held like a bottle of mercury. It's heavy. So if it's a new element, it would have to be really high up on the periodic table, which would make it even heavier. So
that's right.
Yeah. So I think our guess that it's an isotope of a known element may be the best guess.
Sure. Gosh, but that means it's a time unstable resource. Right? Because I guess is it possible for an isotope up there to be on the heavy end of the periodic table to be stable?
There is some theory out there that there's like an island of stability. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've heard
this.
Look
it up. Island of stability.
So if you have atoms, if they have too many protons or too many neutrons, then they decay into other stuff.
That's right. So I think this picture right here. So we're looking at high neutron count, high proton
on the
count.
X-axis, on the Y-axis. Okay.
And I think they're saying up here, I don't know where that is on the periodic table. I think this is beyond the periodic table. They have theoretically determined that there could be an island of stability out here where these are stable over a year. So that would be pretty stable. Let's see if we can get some. So let's see this. These dark red ones are totally stable.
Wait, our axis flipped. So on the horizontal axis is proton count, vertical axis is a neutron. So when you're at larger atoms, you need to have more nucleons, so with more neutrons for the atomic stability. Okay, I see this.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at like maybe around 90 to 100. There's an island of potential stability up here with neutron counts of about 150. And so,
I see.
Yeah, if we look at the periodic table, where are we looking? So let's get an image. Okay, so it looks like oganesson, I never heard of that, is named. It's a noble gas, and that is 118. So that's 118 protons. So the island of stability is sitting at, wait a second, I think it's got to be beyond this. This theoretical island of stability has got to be beyond that.
Oh yeah, well that was a graph of the stability of known nuclides, which I mean, if it's already known, then we're not.
I see. So I think, okay, we flipped our axes again. So there's proton number on the y-axis, neutron number on the x-axis. I think this is our island of stability up. We're looking at 130.
Can you point out ognium, ballpark it? It was 118.
So we're looking. This is 120. So it's this horizontal line.
Okay, so the island of stability is perfect.
Beyond that up here. That must be it.
Cool. So, yeah. So this unobtainium could be that stuff.
Could be one of the things up here. Yeah. Could be.
Cool.
Okay. Let's follow the SOP, people.
That's right.
Yeah. Just relax and let your mind go blank.
I have the first congruency.
Congruency. What are they, triangles?
That's right. They're making triangles in the brain.
Phase lock 40%. Phase lock 99%. Link is stable.
Excellent. Excellent.
Welcome to your new buddy.
Good.
We're gonna take this nice and easy.
And touch your thumb to your finger?
Yeah,
Take it nice and easy, Jake.
no problem.
Come on,
Well,
Jake.
if you want to sit up, that's fine.
Okay, good. Just take it nice and slow, Jake.
Tozy.
Feeling lightheaded?
Dozy, yep. Checking, stretching them out.
Feeling any numbness or pain?
Feels real good.
Okay, almost got a shot.
Almost.
Hold on now, don't take it easy. Don't get ahead of yourself. There's a few more sensory motor reflex tests we need to run.
Jake.
Take it easy.
Jake, don't get ahead of yourself.
What are you doing, Jake?
Listen to me.
Jake,
Listen to me. You're not used to your avatar body. This is dangerous.
This is
Jake.
great.
Jake,
oh, this is dangerous. Jake, follow the SOP.
your ass is hanging out.
The SOPs are made for a reason, Jake.
Jake, excuse me.
Jake, no, stop. Jake, please. Please walk.
Jake, we're not supposed to be running.
Jake, we're not supposed to be running. This whole movie, this whole adventure almost ended here. Imagine he's like, oh yeah, I got this avatar body. He trips, dunk, hits his head. Avatar's body's gone.
Gone. I can't make a new one
follow the
because
SOP.
I was
Takes 6
actually
years.
I was actually mad at him when I watched this.
Oh,
I
really?
was
For the same
angry
reason?
at him. What's that?
For the same reason?
No, I was angry because he doesn't have working legs in his real body, and he has an opportunity to get legs again. And instead of being like, you know what, I'm going to play by the rules, I'm going to follow it so I can have this opportunity, he's going to break the rules immediately. Oh, higher ups could be like, cut it.
Nope.
We can't have him out there. Loose cannon. He's
This is
done.
security risk.
Send him home.
Yep. No
So
good.
he's got this grand opportunity, and you're wasting it. Why
That's
are you
right.
doing
You're-
that?
You're risking it. You're risking it. Right.
Because even though they spent millions of dollars on these avatar bodies and the link and all this stuff, at the same time they could be like, sunk cost, get rid of it, cut it.
Sunk costs. It's worth it. It's worth it to throw away that, because if he's running around being chaotic and not following orders, that can get them in worse trouble than $6 million.
That's right. So he's throwing away this opportunity because in the moment he couldn't control his excitement, which is coming up in like an hour.
That's
Tops.
right.
He
he
they're
needs to do
planning
some
to go
finger
outside.
touches. He needs to do some squats to check it out, and then he'll be ready.
Right. But he's just like, just do a few things and we'll calibrate you and make sure you're all cool. Hey, the door right there is taking you out to the playground.
Right.
We don't need to rush it.
The U-sized door that's clearly made for you. Like, you're getting there. Just wait a little bit. Wait 1 hour.
Right. Imagine if they're like, we're shutting it down, cut it off, and then you like send him back home, and he's sitting back on Earth in his bed, no job, no prospects. He's like, I could have just waited.
And I experienced walking in an alien body for about 30 seconds before they tased me for insubordination.
Why didn't I just listen? Why didn't
I just listen a little bit? Why didn't I read the manual about the SOPs?
Yeah. What was I thinking? I'm sitting here in my bed alone with no prospects in life because I was an idiot.
I was an idiot. Dr. Augustine sends some pictures of Home Tree being burnt down. Like, dude, you could have stopped this.
Why is she sending him pictures?
She's sending him pictures because, like, hey, Marine, you should have followed the SOP. F you, this is your fault. She's got it out for him.
She's just rubbing it in. She's never met the guy before.
She sends him pictures in a teary, like, you could have had this.
It's like knowing the future timeline.
Well, the only reason he can run like this is because he knows the future timeline. Because if you're really fresh in this body, you should be walking carefully. Like, you don't know what the risks are out here. People are like, your Pandora's can constantly kill you. So take it easy. Just walk a little bit.
Yeah, crazy.
These are fresh new baby feet. There's no calluses on this. He get cut up and then he has like bleeding problems. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Follow the SOP.
Follow the SOP.
Made for a reason.
Yep.
Think about these avatar bodies. Like, what goes on at night? What goes on at night with their bodies?
All right, gang. Lights out. Don't play with that. You'll go blind. Come on.
It's a dick joke.
Dick joke. Masturbation joke.
Masturbation
Lights
joke.
out. See you at
Yeah, are there tails of genitals? I don't know.
I think they are, sort of.
Sort of, kind of. So my thought was, when the bodies sleep and the brain, the driver disconnects from the avatar body, like, what is the body doing? Is it breathing on its own and stuff? Like, right?
Well, when we sleep, we go unconscious, and yet the body still self-regulates. So if you took the consciousness out of the brain, I would assume that the remaining brain that's there would just continue to self-regulate.
So assuming that the avatar bodies are like humans, where humans have like autonomic responses where it just does it on its own, then breathing like that could be that for the avatars.
Right. I guess with breathing, we can go conscious and like
and control on purpose, yeah.
And then we can be like background it and then
do your thing, body.
But with the heart rate, like I can't be like, all right, we're going to 40 beats per minute. Okay, go bring it up to 80. I can't control it consciously. Right. And then background it. So I guess depending on how the Navi anatomy works, I guess it's possible that you could take the consciousness out and it just like dies.
What if the reason they lock the avatar bodies in at night is because the bodies, they're like, there's no driver. They go through wild nightmares and like go crazy at night. So that's why they lock.
Oh, jeez.
That's right. I
mean, could be. Maybe they can't. Human consciousness can't handle the Navi sleeping state because of night terrors.
Get ejected, and then night terrors. Oh my gosh, terrifying.
Yeah.
But the Navi bodies can't operate the buttons, so then it's actually okay. Like, they lock them from the inside.
And why are they locking them from the inside? What is this locking?
I figured it was so that they wouldn't get attacked from either animals or other like Navi like entering the base to try to liberate these ones from, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Because the Navi
that
can't
or they
come
don't
in through
want
the
this.
So this is what made me question this scene. Was like, why are we sleeping in a wooden shack? What are we doing? Do they not have
wooden
weather
shack
on Pandora?
Or it must be so temperate and so even that it's fine all the time.
Right. There's never any like wind or rain whipping in here.
Yeah, and like dangerous animals only walk up the front gate.
Right. And bugs. We know there's bugs on Pandora. They can fly in here.
That's right.
Well, why not make
wait.
What are we doing?
Maybe the front gate, because like who would use the front gate? It's humans, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the gate is to stop, because it's locked from the inside. Maybe the gate is to stop the scientists from touching the bodies at night. But they can't climb over that wall because it's too tall.
It's like maybe 5 feet tall.
Yeah, it's very tall.
So this guy's like, can't do it.
Mm-hmm. It's not about being locked down tight. It's about being less appealing than other crimes.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, what are we doing? What is this bunk? Why don't we have like a real bed?
That's right. They've had plenty of time to make an actual bed, and they don't have blankets either. That's not cozy.
I don't understand. Why are we in a shack?
That's right. Actually, that's right, because like everything else on the base is like metal and concrete, and then they got a shack.
That's right, and Pandora doesn't have Pandoran mosquito equivalents, and bitey bug equivalents, and centipede equivalents that are crawling around.
Yeah, weird ecosystem. I guess I don't think I've seen the insects. There may not be insects.
I think there is some insects. Weird.
Yeah, so I was wondering about what do the bodies do at night, and also like do the drivers go through a ton of calories just during the day, right? Because like the drivers are sitting inside those pods where they link out, but they're still going through like a ton of thinking, right?
Right. So I would assume that the body of the driver has to self-regulate when you're in the avatar. So that would happen.
It's got to breathe.
So that baseline. Plus, is the thinking going on? Is it a full consciousness transfer? So the thinking is going on in the avatar, or is it
more like a remote desktop where you're doing the computation here, but you're sending it somewhere else?
Right. I always interpreted it as the consciousness is transferred into the avatar, and the thinking is happening in the avatar.
I see.
So
I interpreted it as the thinking is happening in the body, but there's a link that communicates out to the avatar, and that's why when you cut the link, you're immediately like back into the body.
I see. So there's never any lag effects or like, oops, I'm in a concrete room.
Can you imagine that? Where he's like, I'm a warrior type, and they're like, is he kind of slow? Like he just responds like a few seconds too late all the time, but it's just dealing with lag.
I mean, when they're like jumping around on trees and like doing all kinds of acrobatics, I mean, I even think maybe light speed would be too much lag, because
that's right.
It's how could it could be too much lag? Like even just a tiny bit of like lag would be enough to lose your footing, right?
Or like you miss grabbing onto the next vine,
right? Because you don't quite feel it just in time.
Mm-hmm.
In which case,
so maybe this link stuff is somehow faster than light stuff.
If that's the way it works, it would have to be some kind of like faster than light stuff, instantaneous stuff, like in sci-fi.
He walks around home tree like slightly just sluggish, like it always looks a little bit drunk, just like misplacing his foot, like always a little bit unstable because they wait for that feedback to be like, nope, you're fine, you're stable.
Yeah, that's so it must be instantaneous, which means what? Quantum coupling, which is what they always use in science fiction.
Sure,
that somehow the brain they're quantumly entangled.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's severed and re-entangled, and re-entangled during sleep.
Oh my gosh! Sure,
this is super advanced tech.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, which means from the metabolic processes, the brain in the human is going to be working overtime, which means they're burning a lot of calories.
Right.
Which means that pod that they sit in must be providing like an IV line or something.
I don't think it does. I think they just drink a lot and eat a lot when they're up.
What if the body's got to take a poop?
That's body's problem for when they wake up.
You wake up and you're like,
what?
What is this? Is it's just shit everywhere, urine everywhere. You're like, oh,
Was this worth it? I guess. Yeah. I prefer my avatar body. As far as I know, it doesn't shit or piss ever.
yeah. And like a scientist walks into the pod room, and you're like, oh, what is what is happening in here? Did somebody die?
Like, I work here. Great.
Who's on cleanup duty? So it must be that there's some kind of evacuation system.
Like they hook a hose up to you and like just suck it out.
That's right.
Unpleasant.
Well, once the poo starts coming out, it grabs it. But they don't have an IV though. They have to eat.
Yep.
Outside, no IV. But
or they're like learning from the Na'vi, like, just a moment, coffee break, shut down. Okay, so the colonel wants to talk with Jake, and so he's doing some bench press. Looks weird though.
You want to see me, Colonel?
This low gravity will make you soft. You get soft.
You die. Those weights look not right.
right. So I'm seeing 45. So that's two 45s, a 25, and two 10s. So that looks like 315 pounds. So
315. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're at 0.8 gravity.
Okay.
So 0.8 times, let's bring up a calculator. What is
0.8 gravity because Pandora is smaller than the Earth, like last mass.
Pandora is 0.8. Yeah. And then times 315 pounds is 252 pounds. So that's actually, that's a lot of weight. It's just not 350. It's not 315. It's all right.
Yeah.
But also, do they look like fake weights?
It looks like fake weights. The way I can see it's fake weights is that they don't recoil correctly. Like when he racks, like they jiggle too much.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
You get soft.
See it? Yeah. Look. Okay, yeah. Look at the left side.
Left side over here. It jiggles way too much for heavy weights. Let me start here. See that jiggle?
That like the wiggle. So like yeah, it's low G, so they feel lighter, but they still have mass. Like from that collision against the rack, they should still be massive things.
That's right. So it shouldn't do this side to side wiggling like this. It should pretty much act like a heavy object.
Or, I mean, even if it does collide with the rack, it shouldn't oscillate quickly like that. It should still be slower because it's heavy.
Yeah, look at that wobble. Lots of wobble.
So it makes me wonder, like, what's the colonel doing? What's the colonel doing? He's like this new recruit. I'm gonna meet me in my personal gym where nobody's allowed to touch these weights. Nobody touch them except me. And he's like cracking them out. Like you get soft, you die. But he's using fake weights.
Fake weights. Yeah. So anytime there's a new recruit, he's like, all right, load up the fake weights. I want to intimidate him.
Nobody touch these. Nobody test them themselves.
Sir, he's in a wheelchair. I don't give a fuck.
And you show him how jacked my chest is.
So actually impressive. Looking good.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, absolutely.
Coming down a little high, but that's okay.
Yeah, kind of narrow grip for me, but maybe it's just doing narrow grip there. That's fine.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, but fake weights, 100%.
Getting that pump on. Look at that. Yeah, 100% fake weights. So he's doing it. He's doing it for intimidation of the new recruits.
Yep.
What if a new recruit was like, "Hey, can I give you a re-rack?" And they're like, "What the?
What?
It's just so light. What?
But then the colonel's like, "Oh yeah, lower G here. Yeah,
lower G. Well, why
just covers it up?"
It's like 0.8 gravity, and he's like, "This is 5 pounds.
This is nothing." This is
the colonel using fake weights.
It's 100% fake weights.
100%.
He hops into one of the armored suits, but It's weird ergonomics.
The Avatar program is a bad joke. Bunch of limp dick science majors.
Okay, f you, Colonel. Okay, but super cool. I want to see it.
Super cool.
I suppose admit such a Marine could provide the intel I need right on the ground.
Oh,
Jesus.
Jesus.
Son, I take care of my own.
Wait, what'd you say whoa to?
So there is a guy right here.
Yeah, Jake Sully. Yeah.
This guy right here, and there's people wandering around, and he's swinging the arms around.
Oh. Yeah.
Like this arm is right here. This you could catch an elbow, and he's knocked off here and dead.
Yeah, that's not enough like safety zone. There's not enough like distance from the bot.
Right. Also, right here, this bot is coming into its like I don't know, rest zone. Jake Sully is right there. Watch him swing into place.
An avatar body.
Like, whoa! One,
that is not slow and careful.
It just while they're docking, people should not be there, right?
That's right. That's right.
If he accidentally has his arm out too far, he's going to knock into him.
And then there's fall damage and like cranial damage. Like, that's right. Park the bot, then people can walk out on the platforms to do maintenance.
That's right. So it should be like when the bots are moving, everybody's in the safety zone. And then once all bots have stopped moving, then people can come in. If a bot needs to move again, everybody leaves. Otherwise, you're going to get people going to be catching elbows left and right.
Not good.
So unsafe.
It's not safe.
So that's what I was doing the woe to. Was these punches are so unsafe. There's even a guy walking around down here on ground level. Look at this right here, right next to him. He can't even see him right now.
He's in the blind spot, like a truck's blind spot, but it's bigger all around this guy.
That's right. He can see maybe less than 180 in front of him. He can't really see.
There's a rear view mirror, but the mirror's up.
That's right. And you're not to have 360 situational awareness, even with mirrors and cameras and stuff. It's impossible.
So what caught me about this scene? It's like super cool that you like put these gloves on and then you can like punch around and it just does whatever your body's doing. But go to the very end, like the last like 2 seconds.
We're talking when he's punching.
Yeah, even later.
Okay.
Look at his left hand. Boop. Just rests it on his hip. Yeah. Okay, so that means like the colonel on the inside is like, I'm gonna talk to this guy. I'm gonna rest my hand on my hip. But like, wait a minute, like that could wreck the bot. Like, why is that even allowed to touch yourself? Like, just hang your arm down. Because like, what if he like swings his arm in and like dents something in his hip joint? Then this robot's like going down. It's such like a cute little thing to do, but like I can't unsee it. Like just there should be an exclusion zone, like where the robot cannot shove its own arm.
That's right, because these are really, really strong systems, and you could damage yourself if you could hit yourself. So there should be some exclusion zone. You're right.
Also, like that's not how a human puts their hand on their hip. Like you don't like blade your hand into the side of your hip. Like
that's right. You can't even get on top of the hip. You're on the side of the hip.
Right. So Colonel's just doing this cute stuff, a little casual in front of Sully.
Yeah, weird.
Like, there's no reason for him to. He doesn't need to rest his hand. Like, it's a robot arm. Like, it's hydraulics and pneumatics. And shit.
Right. Just
let it hang.
Let it hang.
See that little cute thing the Colonel's doing?
That's a good point. Plus, safety. I mean, yeah, you could wreck it because you don't have an exclusion zone.
Yep. Like, you shift your weight and it pinches the thumb knuckle and it's all messed up hand now.
That's right. Or you accidentally don't pull away from the hip and you sort of wreck the joint. So, you like rip it apart because it's a strong hand. Weird design and safety procedures in this area. Weird.
Cool suit, though.
Very cool suit. I want one. I think they had in some of the Halo games, you were able to drive suits like this. It's pretty cool.
Oh, really? That's neat.
It's fun.
They go out in their avatar bodies on a mission, and Jake is a security detail. He picks a fight.
Trash talk was short. He says, what do you got? Like a hammer for a head that can knock over trees? Can you not see
I could step on you with any one of my legs.
Yeah. Any one of 6 legs.
Mm-hmm.
What's with the trash talk? Like, he gave up because he didn't want to kill you. If he wanted to, he could.
He could have easily. Yeah, why would I ever give up territory to this little guy? No.
Right. If I'm going to get into a fight in a bar, and a guy is 7 foot and 400 pounds, and he turns and walks away, and why would I start trash talking him? That's right, bitch. Like, what? He just chose not to fight.
he just chose not to wreck you.
Right. I'm not going to trash talk. Also, I like how the hammerhead, the evolved hammerhead, it shows why it evolved. So he could knock trees over. Boom. Boom. Like the use, he's like, what's the use of that? And then immediately it shows.
Like demonstrate him, this is what I can do.
That's right.
It was weird to me that Jake was out here like not knowing what the local fauna would be like. Right? Like it feels like he should have been trained up by either the military people or by Dr. Augustine.
That's right. So it's weird that they didn't take like a month to get him in a classroom. Get him
this thing dangerous. Yeah, how you deal with it. This thing not dangerous. How you deal with it.
Don't touch this plant. Touch this plant. This is what you expect to see. This is our procedure over here. This is what we do here. Take a month, get him in the classroom, train him up.
Gosh.
And then why are we going on in the field immediately? And he doesn't even know what this is.
Especially since he's a Marine, right? Yeah. Like teach him rules of engagement.
That's right. So yeah, that's just very odd to me that they just sent him into the field immediately, and then he sees an animal that they all know about, and he's like, what is it?
He's like, huh? Yeah, right. He should at least be like attached to the hip to the other scientist guy. I forgot his name. But like it was like right on him. It's like, what's this? What's this? What's this? Just constantly for the first several weeks.
That's right. And there's a reason why we have classroom time and writing is so we don't have to learn everything in the field. We can prepare ourselves from written experience from others.
I mean, writing, but also just the cameras.
Like cameras, yeah. And like everyone who's been an avatar could talk to him and say, this is... They don't have a training regimen?
First day, this stuff. 10th day, this stuff.
Yep.
Okay, but what gets me about this scene, can we play it from here out?
Yep.
Yeah, come on. What you got?
All right, trash talking starts.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's right. Get your punk ass back to mommy.
Did he just bully a child?
You're saying this is a child?
Yeah, he said, get your punk ass to back to mommy. Like, he just bullied a child, and everyone's like, yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of me. I bullied a child. Like, you bullied a child.
Oh, you're saying it's like a juvenile? And so it actually did get scared, and it's...
Yeah, because an adult dude with a gun yelled at him until he left. Like, you just bullied a child, dude.
That could be. So that means Jigsaw is kind of a bully.
He's a bully.
As soon as he gets the upper hand in a situation, he won't stop until you've been completely decimated mentally and physically.
And he's not going after the adults. Like, he's letting the adults stay in the background. Like, I'm only going to interact with the kid. Jake, you're so mean.
So mean.
Follow SOP. Interact with the adults.
Interact with the adults. Yeah. Or don't get yourself into this situation. Jeez.